What's going on, people? Welcome back to another episode of the Not a Football Show. My name is Tico from the Tico Fantasy Show, and I am here with my pal, Sully Sports. What's going on, Sully?
We got trades.
And we got a new studio.
New stew.
Oh, yeah, baby. We got new tables. We got a new wall. We got another new wall. And, some new stuff.
We got Cholula.
Cholula. And the Jimmy John's hat.
And the Cooper Cup.
The Cooper Cup. Yes.
So what are we getting into today?
So today's episode, we are going to be going over some potential trades that could happen because the trade deadline's coming up.
Yep, October 31st in just a few days, 6 days to be exact. Halloween.
Ooh.
So we're going to be talking about trades that we think might happen, some trades that we want to happen, and really just going to be a lot of trades being talked about.
Yes. Lots of trades. So me and Sully here, we wrote down a couple of, trades that we think can happen, trades that are realistic, trades that are not realistic, trades that just sound fun in our heads, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, you wanna
You want me to start? Okay, so we're going to go back and forth. I'm going to talk about one, he's going to talk about one, and then we're just going to, chip in whenever we have a chance to chip in.
Chip in.
So you want me to go first?
Go for it, man.
Okay, the first guy I want to talk about is somebody who isn't in trade rumors right now, Austin Ekeler.
Ooh.
Just going to throw him out there.
Throw him out there?
Austin Ekeler is going to be a free agent in 2024 next year. This is the last year. Is he on a franchise tag or a contract?
I think he's on contract. I don't remember him getting tagged.
Yeah. So, okay, he's still on his contract. He has 1 year left. And I think he can get moved at the deadline.
What? Do you have any kind of package or anything?
I do.
What's your package, man?
I think this is the price for him. I think you got to pay a third and a 6th round pick.
You got any landing spots?
In the landing spots, I think there's multiple teams that could trade for this guy. I think he could go to the Ravens. If the guy we talk about later on, maybe he doesn't go there. The Bengals.
Maybe.
Joe Mixon and Austin Ekeler. That'd be a fun combo. Here's another fun one. The Cowboys. Austin Ekeler and Tony Pollard. They do the same exact thing. I think that'd be a fun backfield.
That's terrible,
dude. That would be so much fun to see.
Austin Ekeler's like the last thing they need.
Why not? Why not have him? You could keep Tony Pollard a little bit healthier. Rico Dowdle isn't the best backup running back in the world.
I guess, man. I feel like there's a lot more needs for the Cowboys than Austin Ekeler.
Yeah, that's true.
But you do make a good point. I feel like we're gonna see a lot of.
I have one more spot. That makes sense.
Well, go ahead.
He doesn't even have to move. Send him to the Rams.
Sure, whatever, man. But I do think we could see a lot of running backs being moved, especially if they're on the last year of their deal, because nobody wants to pay them. So we may be shipping to a team that might want to pay them.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Is that it for Austin Ekeler? You don't got anything else, man?
No, I think, if he does get traded, it's probably not very probable that he is going to get traded. But if he does, he's a rental. I don't think anybody's going to give him an actual contract to get him for the rest of the season, and that's it.
Yeah. Cool. I don't think that's going to happen.
Probably not.
I actually have a trade that's kind of involving Austin Ekeler. Not Austin Ekeler getting traded. This was one I was going to say for a little later because, I thought it was a little spicy.
Okay.
Austin Eckler's been dealing with some injuries. I believe he got banged up a few times in the last game.
Yeah.
And Josh Kelly has not been a good backup for when Austin Eckler's out.
No.
So I got the Chargers getting themselves a weapon. A nice weapon. A guy who can do it all. Cordero Patterson to the Chargers.
Oh, no. They want old man Cordero Patterson. What's he going to do for them?
Hey, man. Mike Williams is out for the season.
Okay.
He's gone. They need some more guys that can catch the rock. Cordell can do that. And when Austin Eckler's hurt, he can do exactly what Austin Ekeler does.
Why don't they just
get Tony Pollard?
Why don't they just trade for a real receiver like Jerry Jeudy?
Because I think they could
probably
get
pay
more.
The same exact price.
They probably could, but I think they would get more out of Cordero Patterson than they would with Jerry Jeudy.
Damn, Jerry Jeudy disrespect.
I mean, not even. It's just I feel like he fills more of their needs than Jerry Jeudy would.
Okay.
Once Mike Will's back, they still got QJ, Josh Palmer, Keenan.
But we're thinking, we got to think for this season, because Mike Williams is still on contract for later on down the road, and QJ is on contract for later down the road, so you got to be thinking about this year.
I'd rather have Cordero Patterson for that team than Jerry Jeudy this year.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not saying it's going to be massive.
I think that's a bit of an outrageous take.
I don't know. Dude, he's a Tier 3 receiver.
Oh, my God.
He's a Tier 3
Quoted
receiver.
Steve Smith.
But, Jerry Jeudy is a guy that, has been talked about a lot. You got anything for Jerry Jeudy over there?
I do. Jerry Jeudy is also another guy who, he's actually not a free agent in 2024. I'm sorry. He is a free agent in 2025. So when you're buying into him, you're buying him for 1 more year. And that 1 more year, he's going to be getting paid $13 million. So I think that's not terrible money for Jerry Jeudy. I wouldn't mind paying that. And I think the right package for him right now is probably a 3rd and a 4th round pick. Maybe a little less, maybe a 3rd and a 5th, 3rd and a 6th, but a 3rd and something for Jerry Jeudy. And a couple places that I think would be willing to pay that are the Panthers. They need a wide receiver. They're in desperate need. Adam Thielen's just, there. He's kind of old, and he's doing good, but he's old. Not the long-term solution. The Chiefs, they desperately need a receiver. Rashee Rice is not a wide receiver one. The Browns, they've been a team that's in the rumors that have all been around him. I don't know why they need him. I don't think they do, but they're a team that have been rumored around him. The Lions, it'd be interesting, be weird, kind of a weird place for him to go, but the Lions are a team that I could see him going to. And finally, the Cowboys.
You done? You gonna name the rest of the NFL over there?
Nah, Jerry Jeudy can go anywhere. I've heard so many freaking rumors, dude. Every day there's a new rumor about where he could possibly go.
Yeah, but the one that jumps out to me is one that you mentioned. It's actually the only landing spot that I have is the Panthers. I mean,
it makes sense.
They've talked about wanting to add a young receiver to their receiver core that can grow with Bryce Young, and I think Jerry Jeudy could be the guy. Anytime you can get a first-round receiver for just a few late-round picks, you got to jump all over that. Yeah. And the package that I got for him is a 3rd, a 5th, and a guy who got permission to seek a trade, Terrace Marshall.
That makes sense. I could see that. That's you see, that is a realistic offer. That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, just throw him Terrace Marshall. Why not? He got permission to seek a trade, and Jerry Judy's just going to slot right into his spot anyway, so I mean... Yeah. And the Broncos get a little bit extra with
Jerry Jeudy
the LSU sleeper.
Yeah, Jerry Jeudy and Adam Thielen, that's not a terrible wide receiver room for Bryce Young. I like that. But since we're on the topic of the Panthers, I want to talk about another trade with them. And we just got news that this guy apparently isn't going to get traded. But, once upon a time, Pete Carroll said that Russell Wilson wasn't going to get traded, and he ended up getting traded. So that means nothing to me. I want to talk about Brian Burns.
Go for it, man. I don't got nothing on Brian Burns, so this is all you.
So... Brian Burns gets traded to the Detroit Lions. It makes sense. They're trying to contend. They're trying to do their thing. What's the package? Jameson Williams. Because the Panthers need a receiver. You get Jameson Williams back with Bryce Young. That's cool that you get your old college roommate thing going back on there. And then some picks, Maybe a 2nd, definitely, and maybe a 4th, 5th.
6th, 7th, 8th.
You need a lot of picks to get him, but, they haven't given him a contract yet. Somebody else is going to have to go and pay him. So how much can you really get?
Yeah, I mean that would be nasty, man. Brian Burns and Hutch coming off the edge. That'd be nasty.
Be pretty scary.
It would be. I wanted to do so many mocks to the Lions, but I found myself having a hard time with that because of a quote that Dan Campbell said, where he said, "Team chemistry is above everything." So, I feel like moving a bunch of guys around kind of goes against that, but I do still have a few trades for the Lions.
That's why you move the one guy who hasn't been there.
That's
and
true.
Who still really isn't there. He's been pretty bad, Jameson Williams, and, this would be a good chance to just dump him, get rid of him. See ya.
Yeah, I just don't think Brian Burns is going to get traded. I know, like you said, anything could happen, but, I have one trade involving a Panther, though.
Oh.
Sending a different defensive player away. To the hometown team, Miami Dolphins. I got him picking up defensive back / linebacker / everything, Jeremy Chin, baby. He's going to be out for a little bit. He's injured right now. But I think, if he comes back a little bit later in the season.
Can you trade a player that's hurt? I guess if you sign off on it that he's hurt, I guess you could trade him.
I'm pretty sure you could. They might have to activate him to the active roster. I don't know exactly, but I just think, if he comes in, he could help him make a deep playoff run. He's going to come back later on in the season, I'm just saying, I like Jeremy Chin, and he could do a lot of things on the defensive side of the ball. He's package, good. I don't know, man. A few late picks, 3rd, 4th, 5th.
Not much. He's hurt right now.
I mean, yeah. The thing about the Panthers.
Do you know about his contract?
I don't. I think he has. I looked at it before, but I didn't write anything down. I think he has a year or two, but I'm not 100% sure.
That makes him a little bit more expensive.
Yeah, but the thing with the Panthers is they traded away their first-round pick, so they have no real draft capital, so I feel like a lot of teams could really get some, players from them for cheap.
Yeah.
Just some draft picks just so they have something in the draft. So, I feel like they could be taken advantage of at the deadline.
They need to get rid of some people, They need some picks.
What was that?
Producer Kev.
Producer Mike has some...
Jeremy Chin is a free agent in the year 2024.
There you go. So he's a free agent.
So you're really just getting a quick little rental. So, yeah, not much. That wouldn't be very expensive. You could probably give up a 5th-round pick.
Yeah, but realistically, though, I don't think we're going to see many moves from the Panthers outside of maybe the Jerry Jeudy trade.
No.
But if they want to build around Bryce Young, they got to get something for him on offense that might involve getting rid of some of their defensive guys.
Yeah. But they don't really. The problem with the Panthers, they don't have much to get rid of.
Exactly. Besides the 2 guys and maybe Dante Jackson.
Brian Burns, I think it would be in their best interest to probably hold on to Brian Burns, give him a deal, and then maybe get rid of him down the road. Kind of like what they did with DJ Moore.
Yeah, I mean, edge rushers are hard to come by. So
Yeah,
I'd be willing to extend him for however much money he wants because he's a beast, and you want to keep your edge rushers.
Yeah. But
you got something else?
We got stuck there. So, do you want to do the next some trade that you came up with?
Oh, sure thing. We were just talking about what team were we just talking about?
The Panthers?
No,
the Dolphins.
Team before.
Was it
the Vikings?
Broncos?
Was it the Broncos? I don't remember. Hold on. Let me just get my. All right, I'll just do this.
You got to get situated.
I got to get situated over here. Situation. We were talking about Detroit. That's who we were talking about.
That is who we're talking about.
Like I said, I didn't want to mock too many guys there, but there's one guy that I like going there. We saw Detroit's defense, who's been amazing all season, get gashed because of their secondary. They gave Lamar too much time, and the secondary couldn't hang with the receivers. So I got them sending a few late picks to the Raiders for Marcus Peters. Just get him a nice veteran corner. He fits in with that regime.
He
bites knees. He bites knees out there.
Does.
So I mean, I just think that'd be a decent package for
That'd be
Marcus
a good move
Peters.
for them. That secondary has been pretty terrible as of recent. I think they're bottom 10 in the league right now over the past couple weeks, and they're giving up a lot of yards, and that seems like the one thing that people are exploiting on that defense.
Yeah, and especially taking them from the Raiders, I don't think the Raiders are contenders, especially with the Jimmy G injury now. They're 3-4. I just don't think they're going to be making any motion, so why not get some capital for an aging corner?
Yeah, they are not making any motion. But, speaking of the Raiders, what do you think the odds are of Josh Jacobs getting traded?
Probably higher than I'd like to admit.
Yeah, it's somebody who hasn't really been talked about much in rumors, but it's somebody who could get moved. He's going to be a free agent next year, and they're not good. The Raiders suck. So, they're in a position where if they get rid of him, it's a smart decision.
Yeah, it's just, with the running backs, nobody wanted to sign him, so I feel like they're going to be hard to, find a suitor for him. I mean, what team would you want Josh Jacobs on?
The team that I've been seeing a little bit about, people would say the Dolphins, but we don't really need him. We have Devon Achane, we got Raheem Mostert, we got Jeff Wilson. That's a team that people talk about, but I'm okay, whatever. The Browns could be interesting. Kareem Hunt and Jerome Ford are good, but they're not Josh Jacobs.
They ain't.
And that's a good team. That Browns team is very good. They could be competitors this year. And they are competitors right now. I think they're second in that division, maybe first. No, Ravens are first.
But they're close.
They're close. They're right
good.
behind.
They're winning games with a backup quarterback.
Yeah, and Josh Jacobs would be great right now for them, especially with Deshaun Watson down and probably going to be down for a little while. It'd be good for them.
Yeah, definitely. What kind of package? Just late picks?
Third, sixth, maybe less. I mean, you're not getting him. If you get him, you have to give him a contract, and if you don't give him a contract, he's just a rental.
Yeah, that's the thing with the Browns. I don't think they'd give him a contract.
No, but the Browns are a team that will give up picks for a rental. We just saw them do it on defense with the guy on the other side of Myles Garrett. I can't think of his name.
Jadavius. No, not Jadavius.
I can't think of his name.
I don't know who you're talking about.
I can't think of his name. Oh my god, I can't think of who they traded for. I believe he was on the Vikings. Okay, well, forget about it. I can't think of it. I can't think of who they traded for. I can't think of his name.
Zadarius Smith?
Yes,
Zadarius Smith. Yeah,
Smith.
there you
okay,
go.
yeah. So they gave up a couple picks for him, and he's not on a long-term contract, I don't believe.
Yeah, but the reason I don't think they're going to give him a contract is because of Nick Chubb.
Yeah, well, okay, Nick Chubb. Yeah, that's also true.
that's why I mentioned that they're not going to give him a contract.
I kind of forgot about him. But we don't know how long Nick Chubb's going to be out for. He could be out for next year, too. That was a pretty serious injury.
It was, but I wouldn't bet on him being out multiple years. I mean, it's Nick Chubb, man. He's a dollar.
But the rental, for the 1 year just for this year, and then let him go, let him be a free agent, give up one pick, maybe two.
Yeah, it's
makes sense.
Not crazy.
No.
I got a cheeky little trade to Cleveland, and it's a very small one. I think that the Lions could get some draft capital for sending Teddy Two Gloves to Cleveland, because P.J. Walker's not that good. You don't know how serious the Deshaun Watson injury is, and it's just a little thing, just a little move. There's going to be a lot of little trades at the deadline, more than blockbuster trades, so I think this just could be one. And plus, the Lions got David Blau, and they got Hendon Hooker waiting to be activated, so they don't even really need Teddy Bridgewater.
Here's my thing with that trade. PJ Walker's won 2 games. He's been pretty good. I'm not going to lie. Like, Teddy Bridgewater comes in. Does Teddy Bridgewater start over PJ Walker? I don't think so.
I think he does.
I don't know, man. PJ Walker, they just signed him for a reason. I mean, he was coming off the practice squad before. Now he's actually on the roster because he's won them 2 games. He's been pretty good.
Fair.
Fair. PJ Walker, man. Panthers legend.
Panthers legend. Finn's legend.
Dude, where else has he been? He's been all over the place.
Dude, it took so much out of me to not try to send Teddy Bridgewater to the Jets because I just know Robert Saleh wouldn't do it, and he just
he's
stick
not
with
giving
Zach
up
Wilson.
on Zach Wilson. It's so sad. I wish he would.
Yeah.
But let's see. What other trades we got? Oh, let's talk about the big man.
The King?
The King.
I think we probably got him going to the same place.
I got a couple places he can go.
Where?
Well, number one, obviously, the place that makes the most sense, the Ravens. You put Derrick Henry in a backfield with Lamar Jackson, and people are going to be shitting their pants. That is a scary freaking thing to see.
Yeah, I mean, plus there's been reports of that being the team that's most interested in him anyway,
yeah.
So it makes the most sense.
I'd love to see that. Oh my god, dude. I don't have words. That would be the scariest thing a defense could possibly see.
It could be. Who else you got? I got one other team that he could go to.
Another team that I think is realistic. I'm trying to find. Oh, the Browns. The Browns was another team I was talking about because he's also a free agent in 2024. You don't got to really worry about Nick Chubb. You can just let him go. You give up 1 pick, 2 picks if you have to, and just let him be free afterwards.
Yeah, outside of the Ravens, the only team I got is Buffalo.
Yeah, that's on my list as well. The Bills make sense. I mean, James Cook's a tiny guy. He can't really handle a full workload, and if you put him back there with Derrick Henry, it's a nice backfield.
And they just lost Damian Harris for a little bit too. So, staying on the topic of the Titans, we saw the Kevin Byard trade.
We did.
And they're having basically quarterback tryouts this Sunday with Will Levis and Malik Willis both playing. So they're gonna sell everyone. They're not trying to win this year. So I think D-Hop could be on the move. Just signed him.
What was DeAndre Hopkins thinking in the offseason when he said, oh, you know what? I'm going to go sign with the Titans, I'm going to go sign with the Titans. They got Ryan Tannehill, Will Levis, Malik Willis, very talented quarterbacks. I'm going to go sign here. I'm going to end my career here. What was he thinking? Like, why? Why would you make that move?
Yeah, right after mentioning he wanted to play with a great quarterback and be a contender.
Oh, my
God.
But
I got him getting sent to a contender. I think with the loss of Dawson Knox, he would be a monster weapon for Buffalo.
That's
I hate
the same
to say
team
it.
I got.
Yeah.
The Bills. It was a rumor that was going on in the offseason that he was talking with the Bills. I believe he flew there and visited with them.
Probably. I mean, it makes sense.
It does.
Gabe Davis hasn't been too much of a reliable wide receiver, too, for Josh Allen.
Gabe Davis is also a free agent next year.
There you go.
And DeAndre Hopkins has 2 years on this contract that he signed with the Titans, a $26 million deal, 2 years, so 1 more year left.
Yeah, and it would definitely take a little bit off the shoulders of Josh Allen, who looks like he has to do absolutely everything out there for the offense if it's not going to Diggs. So I just think it makes a lot of sense for everyone. D-Hop gets to go to play with a great quarterback and be on a contender, and Josh Allen gets a weapon.
Yeah, I think the Bills need to make some type of move before the deadline. I think they need one more thing on offense if they really want to be a contending team in the AFC this year. Because, there's good teams out there,
Yeah.
I don't think they can compete with right now.
And I got one more trade with Tennessee. I don't think it's going to happen, but it might if they really decide to go all in trading everyone. The guy's only 26, but Jeffrey Simmons, I think he's on a monster deal right now. I think he's on like a 4-year deal. They'd have to a team would have to give up a first, basically.
Yeah, that is
it would have to be
almost.
Massive package, but I would love to see him on Cincy.
Oh my goodness!
It would have to be a huge package. I know that they'd have to pay a lot of money for him.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, but if they want to go into complete rebuild mode and they can get an offer of a bunch of good picks, you gotta take it. But realistically, I think Jeffrey Simmons ends up staying a Titan.
Yeah, I just don't. It's hard for them to move him. They just gave him that fat deal. I believe it was $90 million.
He was the highest paid D tackle.
It might have been more than that. I don't remember.
Yeah, it was a lot of money.
It was Quinnen Williams. I think Quinnen Williams signed one just a little bit below him, and then he's at the very top. But still, either way, it's a lot of money for a team to take on, especially the Bengals, who are already having contract troubles. You got Joe Burrow, who you just signed. You got Jamar Chase with a contract extension coming up soon. T. Higgins.
Yeah.
T. Higgins was somebody I was talking about in my notes that could possibly get traded.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, like I said, it's probably not going to happen.
No, it's probably
this is my dream scenario, Give Cincy a nice big old man in the middle. It'd be amazing for him, and they'd definitely be contenders.
Did you by any chance make any trades with T. Higgins?
I didn't.
See, I want to see T. Higgins get traded, man. I want to see T. Higgins on a new team. I just want to see it happen because the Bengals, if they give him a deal, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. All your money is going to be tied up between T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and Joe Burrow in the next 2-3 years.
Yeah, I do think he's going to get traded, but I just don't know if it's going to happen at the deadline. I think
and if he doesn't get traded at the deadline, he's not getting traded. Or if he is, he's going to be a free agent.
True. I mean, they may just let him walk. They may not even trade him. They may try to run it with him this year, see if they can get anything done, and just let him walk.
And
it's gross, but I mean, it's
the Bengals
possible.
have nothing if they do that. I don't know. They're not very good this year. They're not looking like a team that's going to be in competition this year. So I don't know. It might be a good idea for them to move him, and if they can, I'd love to see it.
Do you have any spots?
Let me see. I wrote something down.
Could he be another guy that possibly to the Panthers
He's
or
a
something?
Chief.
He's a Chief?
He's a Chief.
There you go.
He's a Chief. Dude, T. Higgins on the Chiefs?
Chiefs?
Sheesh.
Yeah, because he's totally going to play more than 3 games for him.
Oh, yeah, maybe 4. Maybe 4. Him and Kadarius will play alternating games.
Oh, my God. I'm trying to see here who else I got. Oh, so there's been a lot of talk between 2 guys that play for Washington.
Yes.
And they play the same position, Montez Sweat, Chase Young. They can only franchise tag one of them.
One got an offer today.
Got an offer?
So apparently they're not the rumor. I heard a rumor today. I saw it in the tweets or whatever that Montez Sweat. There's an offer. The Commanders have an offer on the table for him, but we don't know who it's from. But there are no offers on the table for Chase Young.
Yeah, I didn't see that, but I wrote down that Chase Young's more likely to be traded to me.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel like they could get a lot more in a package for Chase Young than they could for Montez Sweat, even though Montez Sweat's having a great season this year. There's one. Actually, I have 2 teams, but one I think is a little more likely. One is the Lions, like you mentioned.
That makes sense, yeah.
You mentioned Brian Burns, but I went back to the whole Dan Campbell thing, talking about I don't want to mess with team chemistry and all that. So I was like, scratch that. I want to see this guy in Atlanta. Chase Young in Atlanta.
Man.
Atlanta's a team that wants to play defense and run the ball.
They do.
And
they do. It's ugly, but it makes sense.
They'd have to give up quite a bit for him because he's a very talented. He's constantly injured though. That's the thing. But he's very talented.
He doesn't have any more time left. He's on a contract, or his contract's done. This is the last year.
I know, but I think if they trade for him, they pay that man.
Oh yeah, they definitely. They're not going to just trade him and not pay for him. That's for sure.
Yeah.
What about the Cowboys?
Yeah.
I feel like Chase Young's just got Cowboys written all over him, right on his chest, bro. Cowboys, Jerry Jones.
But the thing for me is, if I wanted to mock a trade to the Cowboys, I'd give them someone in the secondary because they lost Trayvon Diggs.
That's true.
So, I wouldn't really want to send him to the Cowboys. I just think, dude, could you imagine Chase Young in those Atlanta jerseys, the all-black ones?
That would be clean.
I could just picture it in my mind. Like you said, he looks like a Cowboy. To me, I can just picture him in an Atlanta uniform.
Yeah, I could see that. That makes sense. I like it.
Yeah, so I think they end up ultimately franchise tagging Montez Sweat.
Yeah, probably. Here's another guy that has been rumored. It's going around. Hollywood Brown.
Hollywood?
This is weird, the Cardinals. I don't know if they're in a situation where they can pay Hollywood because they have the money. They obviously have the money to do it, but do they have the timeline to do it? Is it the right time to pay Hollywood Brown? I don't know because you're probably going to have 2 pretty high picks this year. I mean, they have, not pretty high. The Browns pick is going to be good, but that'll be a later pick. But their pick's going to be high.
Yeah, I mean, the timeline ultimately comes down to whether or not they run it with Kyler.
Yeah.
If they keep Kyler, you think they do? So then,
actually, just got news on Kyler. Full participant in practice today.
There you go.
Might be back, man. That'd be pretty cool to see. We might get him back. Probably not this week, but next week probably.
That would be, very nice.
Yeah.
But I think they hold on to him because he's been good. He's been really good with Josh Dobbs. He's been really good with Josh Dobbs. So I think if they continue to run it with Kyler for the next couple of years, he can be his number 1 guy. Or if they decide to move on from Kyler, draft somebody, he could be the number 1 guy. You got to have a weapon for a rookie quarterback. So it would make sense for them to trade him. Who do you got in mind?
The first team I said was the Chiefs. The Chiefs.
Every receiver's to the Chiefs.
The Chiefs need another receiver, man. And the favorite. Well, they weren't the
Mecole
favorite.
Hardman.
The Chiefs were the favorite to trade for Jerry Jeudy.
Okay.
And Las Vegas has them as the favorite right now. I don't know why. I don't see that happening. I don't think Jerry Jeudy's a Chief. It just doesn't add up in my brain. But that's the team they have favorited right now for him. But the Chiefs just make sense to me for Hollywood Brown. It's a good team. He's fast. He could go in there, kind of be like a Tyreek Hill kind of guy for Patrick, you know?
Be like a Mecole Hardman?
No. Hollywood's significantly better than Mecole. Hollywood is closer to Tyreek than he is to Mecole.
All right. Yeah.
What, you don't agree with that?
No, I'm not going to disagree. It's just a crazy take. I don't think I've ever heard anything like that.
I mean, if you think about it, if you think about the scales here, I think Mecole's like below the table, put him on the floor. Hollywood's probably at the table. Tyreek's probably up here. And I think Hollywood's a little bit closer to up here than he is down to the ground.
I don't know. It just seems to me like the Chiefs are dead set on just running a wide receiver by committee.
Yeah, I mean, they can do that. I don't know if they're going to get to another Super Bowl by doing that, but that's what it looks like they're trying to do.
Maybe. I got a trade involving Arizona.
Didn't they trade for Kadarius Toney last year at the deadline?
Was that it might have been at the deadline, yeah.
So maybe
they're gonna be in the
they are
market.
more. That seems like more of a Jerry Jeudy level of trade.
Maybe. So yeah, I only got really one trade involving the Cardinals, and that is a guy that requested a trade but didn't get that honor, Budda Baker. And I think that they might have just activated him off IR so teams could see what they're getting.
He played last week, didn't he?
He played.
Yeah.
I think they wanted to put him out there so they could show teams like, hey, you want this guy?
Hey, look at our goods.
And I got Budda Baker going to H-Town, going to Houston. They do have Jimmy Ward and they do have Jalen Petre. I love Jalen Petre.
Oh.
So I think in a corresponding move, they send 32-year-old Jimmy Ward over to Detroit, and he's going to play while C.J. Gardner-Johnson's dealing with his torn pec.
I like that.
So I got, what was I doing?
Budda
Baker to Houston, and then Houston trades Jimmy Ward to Detroit.
Oh, okay.
So they get rid of their Jimmy Ward's on a 2-year deal. He's 32 right now, so he's just
Old.
really going to be a rotational guy for Detroit and fill in for C.J. Gardner-Johnson while he's out. But I think Budda Baker, he's like 26, 27, and I think that this Houston team is going to be ready to contend sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
So why not get a stud safety for probably a discount? You're probably not going to be able to get him at this price because the guy's a monster. But
I love that. DeMeco Ryans, the things he would do with Budda Baker. Oh, man.
And not to mention, I mean, he'd just be a good mentor for Jalen Petre. Dude, I love Jalen Petre. Jalen Petre is nasty.
I love that defense. There's so many good young guys on that defense. Derek Stingley, Will Anderson, Jalen Petre.
Jonathan Grenard.
I don't even know. Yeah, Jonathan Grenard.
Yeah. Dude, I went to a Houston game. They love him there. It's the only reason I know who he is. He was a 3rd-round pick a couple of years ago, but he's pretty nice.
Whatever team CJ Stroud's on, I'm a fan of CJ Stroud.
There you go.
Okay, so let's see. What else? Who haven't we talked about here?
I got a few more if you're not ready.
I'm about
go for
traded out over here.
Oh, oh man, I got a flurry of them left.
Let's see what you got.
You don't got any more? You're done?
I got a few, but I'm not gonna use them yet.
I got a team you talked about a little bit before, okay. Dallas Cowboys.
Ooh.
They're 26th in the league in scoring touchdowns in the red zone. They scored a touchdown 39% of the time they're in the red zone. That's bad.
No,
and I think that's because they lack a big old back that runs hard and gets the dirty yards. I got Najee Harris taking his talents to Dallas. Jalen Warren.
Dude, they would have just kept Zeke at that point. They should have just kept him. Hell.
But he's younger. I got Jalen Warren finally taking over the backfield in Pittsburgh, and them just shipping away Najee to run some goal line work for Dallas.
Oh man, that's ugly. I
mean,
hey, if anybody has Cowboys written on their chest, it's Najee Harris, man. He could come in there and be the most inefficient back in the world.
Yeah, I mean, you see people constantly talking about, oh, maybe Derrick Henry's going to go to the Cowboys. Najee Harris is just cheaper Derrick Henry.
You think Najee Harris is cheaper than Derrick Henry right now?
In terms of his contract, yeah.
Yeah, in terms of his contract, yeah, but like trade value, I mean, Najee Harris still has 2 years left?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean that's pricey. That's gonna cost you.
3rd-round pick.
I think you're able to. I think Derrick Henry would be cheaper to trade for than Najee Harris, and he'd be better as well by a long shot.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm looking at cap space more. I mean, you're gonna get everyone at a discount at this point in the season anyway. Yeah. So I mean, why not just ship out, a couple picks for a young running back, pair him with Tony Pollard. They don't look like they want to give Tony Pollard the workload.
No.
Because Rico Dowdle's out there getting snaps. Kevontae Turpin's getting snaps in the backfield. That's really what this stems from. And if they don't... Oh, you got something? What do you...
Congratulations to Sean McVay. His son was just born.
Yippee! I actually have written down here as well, if they don't go for Najee, I got him maybe trading for Jamal Williams.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. That I can get behind. That cheap.
Yeah,
Cheap.
really cheap. And for the Saints, Kendre Miller's had a few good games, and Alvin Kamara's back, so maybe they get some capital.
Kendre Miller can do everything that Jamal Williams does better.
Exactly. So I just really, in general, what I mean by this is I think the Cowboys are going to pick up a running back at the deadline that can, get in the end zone.
Yeah.
Because, they don't got anyone that can get in the end zone.
No.
Deuce Vaughn's not doing it.
all 5 foot of them.
Yeah, I mean, Najee Harris looks like Deuce Vaughn if Deuce Vaughn ate 3 Deuce Vaughns.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he runs like it too. Like he's got 3 Deuce Vaughns in him. But
he runs like he has like 3 Deuce Vaughns on his legs, just
dude,
holding them.
He's got like 3. He's got a pair of jeans on and like 1 Deuce Vaughn in the back pocket and 2 in the front.
I mean, you put 4 Deuce Vaughns in a trench coat and they look like Najee Harris.
They're just stacked on top of each other.
Exactly.
Do you have any more trades?
I got a lot of trades, man.
Oh my goodness,
I
how
got
many
some-
trades do you have? Do we have time for how much more time do we have for trades? For 30?
We're at 30.
Okay, give me one more trade, the final trade.
Final trade. Oh, I have so many. All right. All right. I'm just gonna talk about a team. I don't think the Minnesota Vikings are gonna sell. I think they're gonna buy at the deadline.
Buy?
They just beat the 49ers. They're 2 games behind leading that division, and their next 4 games are very easy. I think they go for their middle-of-the-road defense. Their offense is really good. I think they shell out some picks and pick up. I have 2 guys here. I don't know if they're going to get either of them. I like Kendall Fuller from the
Okay.
Commanders. He comes play slot cornerback for him. He could be nice. And then I have from the Giants Leonard Williams. He's coming in and plugging up the middle. They don't have a very good run defense or pass defense, so either one of these guys for some late picks I think would be a really good pickup. They're going to have to pay him. Both of them are on
Yeah.
contract years, but that's the only
The
problem.
Vikings are in such a weird position right now where I don't know if they can even make a trade for somebody. They have like no identity right now. I don't know what they plan on doing with the future. You got Kirk Cousins who is probably out of there next year. You got Justin Jefferson who needs a new contract. And you got a couple of good young guys on the roster, but it's weird. They have a weird team right now.
Yeah, and the main reason I don't think they're going to sell, I think they're going to buy, is because we've already heard Kirk Cousins isn't waiving his no-trade clause. And to me, if they can't trade him this year, they're not tanking, so they should be buying. They should give it one last shot. Even if they don't pay him next year, put a decent team around him, give him a shot to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I get it. Makes sense. Yeah. Dude, when you beat the 49ers, hey.
Anything's possible.
Anything's possible. The 49ers, Vikings could go to a Super Bowl at this point. We don't know.
Yeah, and they got a pretty squishy next 4 games, so you could see a win
Do
streak.
you know their next 4 games?
They play Chicago. I know they play Atlanta. I will get it pulled up
They-
really quickly.
They already played Chicago.
I think they play them again in the next 4 games.
Oh, you're right.
Let me
Forgot
see.
they're in the same division.
They play Packers, Falcons.
Falcons is hard,
Packers,
but they could beat them.
Packers, Falcons, Saints, Vikings, Bears.
Okay, that's an easy schedule. Hey, man, they could get right back into the program with that.
And then right after the Bears, they got the Broncos and then Raiders. So I actually said that in the wrong order, but those are the next couple games.
Hey, man,
so,
that can get them right back into where they need to be. And
yeah, their next tough game is the Bengals.
yeah, I mean the Bengals aren't very good right now.
That's why I mainly, I think they should buy.
So Daniel Hunter doesn't get traded.
No, I think they keep him.
Does Daniel Hunter need a new contract?
Probably. But hey, then you just let him walk. Let him walk with Kirk if you really want to rebuild.
I guess. I mean, they're in such a bad position where it's almost better if they do trade him for picks.
Yeah.
Because if you're not gonna be like super competitive, there's no point in being like I'm almost competitive.
But to me, this year, if you're not in Caleb Williams' watch, there's no point of trading your guys and getting picks.
Yeah.
And since they can't trade Kirk, they're not going to be bad enough to get Caleb
I wish
Williams.
they lost to the 49ers, honestly. Beating the 49ers sounds awesome in the moment, but in the long run, it probably would have been better if they lost.
It probably would have.
We would be here having the discussion about Kirk Cousins possibly waiving his trade clause and getting traded. We would still have Justin Jefferson, who would probably be sitting out a little bit longer instead of, I feel like he's more in a position now where he wants to rush to get back. And, I think it would have been better for them. They would have had a better pick. And one win, that one win makes that big of a difference on the year.
It does. It's a big win. Big win.
But I think that's all. Oh, big dog movement. Big doggage. Okay. Well,
yeah.
We're going to.
Yeah, we'll fix it in post.
I think that's all we got for today's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. These were a bunch of trades. And, some of them, hopefully some happen. We'll know by when's Halloween? Tuesday?
Yeah.
Tuesday. We'll know by next Tuesday if these trades happen or not. 4 o'clock. And yeah, that's all we got. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Tico from the Tico Fantasy Show, and this is my pal, Sully Sports. Any last comments, Sully?
Trades!
Trades! Have a wonderful day, people.